I'm here at the trailhead on Hill Road out in the western Catskills, and I'm about to embark on the Huckleberry Loop, which is a pretty little used loop hike that's about 13 miles out this way in the western Catskills. There's not very many peaks to speak of. There are ups and downs, and when you do get out onto Brook Ridge, there are definitely some views there. So I'm going to take you along and we're going to see what we find. You come down the hill and out into this grassy area where DEC has a storage building. It can be a bit confusing, but just walk through the yard and then cross the bridge out to the road. So road walks are never really fun, but one reason to do this loop in the counterclockwise way that I'm doing it is because you kind of get the road walk out at the beginning. It's about 0.7, and going this way, the entire road walk is also downhill. So even though you're losing all that elevation, you started where you parked. At the same time, it's a heck of a lot easier than getting to the end and having to walk 0.7 up a road. Trail intersects with an old road, which makes the climb a bit easier, but you're still going up. Clearly I jinxed it, because as soon as I said we're following an old road, we left that old road to go straight up the hill. This has got to be one of my most favorite sections of this entire loop. You're hiking through the woods, you finally made it up onto the ridge, you're descending a little bit, and you come into this old farm field that just has not grown back into the forest. And so you just pop out, and especially in the springtime, even right now, filled with wildflowers, ferns, it's just a beautiful, unexpected opening in the forest. All right, so this is cool. I'm always telling folks, I never see bears when I'm hiking. And I've been hiking, we're like 4 miles in now, and there's bear poop everywhere. And I'm gonna record something and say I'm never gonna see a bear. And just as I was coming around the corner, there was a bear up in the tree. It came running down and took off. So I didn't get like a great view, but I totally did see the bear. So now I think I'm up to like number 4 of all the years that I've been hiking in the Catskills actually seeing a bear along the trail. So exciting news. We've reached the last height of land on the unnamed ridge in this first section of the Huckleberry Loop, and we're about to start descending down to Plauts Road, which will be a water crossing and a road crossing. It's a rough dirt road, so you won't find much there, but then we will start climbing up to the Brook Ridge. I think we're somewhere around 6 miles or so in, and I'm at the creek crossing just before Plauts Road, and then we're going to climb up to the Brook Ridge Trail. So I think I've got a little bit to the road, then 1.4 to Brook Ridge Trail, and then several miles along Brook Ridge before we drop back down on the Huckleberry Trail, back to where I parked. made it to the Dry Brook Ridge Trail. So I've come about 6.5 miles from Hill Road, and I think there's about 4 to Hill Road for the rest of the loop. So I'm now going to follow the Dry Brook Ridge Trail for a few miles past the only 2 views on this route, and then down the Huckleberry Loop back to the truck. I've made it to the first view on Dry Brook Ridge. Unfortunately, I'm racing the rain on the way out, so I'm not going to stick around. I had wanted to kind of enjoy a snack and sit here and relax and take in the view, but Mother Nature has other ideas. So I am going to keep skedaddling down the mountain and hopefully get out before the heavy rain moves in. Keeping my fingers crossed on the rain. Still coming down lightly, but thankfully not too hard, and I hope I don't jinx myself either. This view is as good, if not better, than the first one. Just beautiful. I wish it was a little clearer so you could get even more detail and see even more mountains. Right now it's kind of all covered by clouds, haze, and rain, but well worth the hike up here. But I'm gonna keep going. Can you decipher the sign? Well, it looks like we have 1.7 to Hill Road, so that's all that's left out of our Huckleberry Loop hike. And the rain has picked up a little bit, so I'm gonna keep walking along so I don't get too wet. The last bit of the trail before you get to Hill Road follows really a beautiful old road that makes the descent pretty darn easy, steady, but definitely after all the little ups and downs and overs and throughs, it is nice to come down this section and know that in just a little bit, that's going to be where the truck is. And nice cold Mountain Dew. "13 miles later, I'm done with the Huckleberry Loop. And the rain really almost held off. We had a few bursts of heavier rain, so definitely got some wetness, and especially the feet, but now you can tell it's really not raining. So great walk. I just love the fact that it's a big mile loop in the Catskills that is challenging because of the miles, but not challenging because the trail itself is just a heck of a lot of work. You know, like the Devil's Path or even the Escarpment Trail, there's just a lot of work to walk the trail because the trail is so rough. Whereas the Huckleberry Loop, 13 miles, it's a great walk. Through some amazing forest. You get the views on Dry Brook Ridge, but the walk itself, the trail, really is not difficult in any one place. The only reason I would say the trail is difficult is because it is 13 miles long. So if you're looking for some good miles here in the Catskills, you could also do it as a 2-day trip and camp in the middle. There is that water by Plauts Road, so that's a good place to camp. Yeah, I can't recommend this loop enough. I don't understand why more folks don't enjoy it, other than it doesn't have any of the big peaks on it, but it does have great views and it is a beautiful walk. Keep the big miles going in the Catskills with a hike from Slide Mountain to Phoenicia on the long path.